Okay, there we go. Oh, Oliver, you drunk? Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of iHitSendSunday. I'm your host, Steve Boyle. That is Speedy, and that is Oliver. This is some homemade kombucha. Got 3 emails today. Sorry if I'm low energy. Please email me at iHitSendInquiries@gmail.com or iHitSendInquiries@gmail.com. 2 that kind of skirt on the same issue, so I want to read them both and I want to talk about it. And then a kind of heavier one later. So, let's jump into it. iHitSendSunday. Send me the emails. I need them, please, to survive. So the first email is, Hi Steve, I'm such a huge fan. My name is Tilly and I live in California. My best friend lives in Texas and I recently came out to her as gay. We were really close, and now we barely talk, and she's super weird about it. I miss her so much, and I don't know what to do. Please help. Thank you so much. So she came out. He came out. Tilly is kind of it's a rough one to gender. And then I got another email, and this one is from, yes, this one's anonymous, so this one comes from Homie. And this one says, I'm wondering if I can pick your big old gay brain for a minute. It said, I'm in my first year of college. I came out at the start of the year. It's gone great, and over the holidays, I got to spend time with my friends from home for the first time since coming out. It went okay, but one of my best friends told me I was acting gay because I'm more camp and effeminate, I guess, than when we used to hang out. I tried to explain that when we were younger, I was trying really hard to not be gay and try to be more manly and not act the way which I wanted. I don't think he got it, and I'm worried my old friends aren't going to like me, and I can't be myself. I'm not sure if I have a question. Thoughts? Okay, so 2 similar things. We have 2 people coming out, and suddenly old friends are now wondering what happened to their friend, or thinking, now that they're out, they're so different, and it's like not, good or whatever. Friends get to know you at a certain time in your life, and who you are is not stagnant, and it shouldn't be. You should go and you should grow and you should become different and you should adopt new mentalities and theories and world views and these kinds of things. They are a threat to friendships because friendships are based off of a certain time and place, a certain understanding. Sometimes a friendship can just be based on 2 people hating the same person and you guys find common ground there and you become friends on that foundation. Problem is when people change, the friendship that you remember might not still be a feasible thing. They suddenly think you're too campy or too effeminate and you weren't like this and they don't know if they would have been friends with you if you were. I guess the question becomes, would you be friends with them if they weren't okay with who you really were? I think the answer is no. I think before you come out, you're so happy that people like you for whatever persona you're trying to achieve, that you kind of forget if being gay or acting more effeminate or more campy or just coming out to your friend who's long distance. If they have a problem with that, there's something to be said about them having a problem with it from the get-go and not because of this event. So I guess what I'm saying is, thick skin is important. When you're coming out, you have to understand that these people are seeing you in a new light. And for some people, that light is not going to be flattering. For some people, that's not going to be a great addition to the friendship. And for that, I say, it's time to find some new, comfortable, mutually beneficial relationships. I'm not saying give up on your friends. I'm saying if your friends give up on you for something that's out of your control, you are given no choice but to move on. And you might really, really go through a hard time because of this. But the best thing you can do is move on. Distance yourself from a relationship and try not to make it everything. Which leads me to my next email. I think self-perception is one of the hardest things to deal with, just as a young person, as an adult, as a gay person, as a straight person, as anyone. Your self-perception is super important to your well-being. I've fallen in the trap before. I think everyone watching has probably fallen into a trap before where we start to look down on ourselves or think about an example of our failures that becomes the foundation of how we see ourselves. And so this brings me to my next email. These are all kind of in the same thought group. So let's get into it. This one comes from Homie, another homie. So last summer, I came out and I joined a group chat of LGBTQ plus people at college I would be going to. I made so many friends and I met a guy that I would later date for 6 months. This guy and I rushed into things fast, being each other's first real relationship and fell in love fast. Over the 6 months, we had some issues, but we were always more than boyfriends. We were best friends and spent almost every minute together. Over Christmas break, a lot of problems arose, particularly because of the distance, but also due to family drama. Since New Year's, we have broken up and gotten back together 3 times, and right now we aren't together. I know he loves me, but for some reason I wasn't happy with him, and when I'm not with him, I miss it. We also have the same friends, so the breakup has been messy and emotional and taxing for both of us. At this point, I've started talking to a guy who's very nice, but I can't help but miss my ex. I can't tell if I need to be alone and love myself for now, because doing so would mean losing him. He is somebody I could picture myself with for life, but I feel like I need to experience dating and being young before I can commit to somebody. I'm not exactly sure what I'm asking about, but you are a little older than me, watch it, and may have insight on how to deal with this. Now, they sent me a follow-up email which kind of changed the tone, I think, and they sent me this and said, I want to add a little more context to the relationship. This is almost a completely separate topic, but why is it that people still want abusive/unhealthy relationships? I've accepted that it was unhealthy, but it doesn't change my feelings about it. The only point on the attached image, which I'm going to put on one of these sides, that wasn't happening was the physical abuse. So the relationship that he's talking about, the one that lasted for 6 months, that kind of, was a lot to him and his best friend and stuff. He is, followed up with this email where he kind of explained in detail that all of this was happening in this relationship, which might have been the end of it. So he listed things like checking cell phones, emails, or social networks without permission, extreme jealousy or insecurity, constant belittling or put-downs, explosive temper, isolation from family and friends, making false accusations, erratic mood swings, physical inflicting of pain or hurt in any way, which he said that this person wasn't particularly doing, possessiveness, telling somebody what to do, repeatedly pressuring someone to have sex. These are all a screenshot that he sent me for an abuse kind of informational website. So very classic examples of an unhealthy relationship. These are all things that are called conditioning. And conditioning is a tactic used by abusers, basically. Conditioning is how they get their victim to accept the abuse, long for it, and miss it. And that's structurally breaking down a person, making them feel like they aren't good enough, that they aren't doing enough, that they're not worth it. And that makes the abuser kind of like, they capitalize on this whole idea of Stockholm Syndrome. They tell you you're worthless. They tell you that you can't do anything right. They tell you that your friends are bad people and that they're against them and they have a temper and they get possessive. And all these things break you down and make you feel like they're your only chance at being a good person or being a valid person or somebody who's worth it is only when you're in that relationship with them. That is abuse. And I have to be very careful with how I handle this. Of course, this isn't a gay unique issue. This is just being in an abusive relationship will fundamentally change how you see yourself. And it takes a very long time to get out of that idea that you aren't worth anything, that you can't do anything right. These are things that they implanted in your brain to force you to stick with them and think that they are your chance at redemption. So from your first email, homie, I obviously thought, oh, like this sounds like a typical thing. But when you sent me that, I got very concerned. So you said you were talking to this new guy who's very nice and you can't help but miss your ex. I want to say, and I don't know the situation very enough, but I think that you have been a victim of conditioning. You've been conditioned to think that your ex is the only person that makes you worth it, or the only person that is going to love you in that way. And it's going to take a bit. You deserve a professional to help you get through this. However, I'm going to do my best. You are not who that person made you feel like. You are so much more. The reason that they did so much unhealthy behavioral stuff is because they wanted you for themselves. When you are an attractive person to many, many other people. You have many things to offer to other people, including this nice guy who wants, who's charming, and you're questioning if you're even, worth it. I think, that if there was any hesitation, it might be because you have these ideas implanted in your head that you need to be treated like a prisoner, that you need to be constantly monitored and checked in on, and that might keep you from pursuing a healthy relationship because you found comfort and love in your own way through the last one. So you have to shake that off. Does that mean that you have to be single through it, that you can't accept love from somebody else while you go through this? I don't know. We should be able to seek somebody who empowers us and doesn't have to break us down to keep us around. That's so hard to say. And it's hard to do. I'm glad that you wrote me. I'm glad that we had this subject on this show because we don't talk about abuse on here a lot. Mostly just acceptance issues from parents or coming out stories or kind of relationship triangles and stuff. But abuse, we are all capable of allowing somebody to condition us to feel bad and feel like we need somebody else. And the more aware we are of this, and the more we know the right terms and know what to look for, these red flags that are over here, the more we can be smart about falling into the trap of an abuser. And it can come from anywhere. It can come from somebody you know, somebody you love, somebody your family trusts. Anywhere. So be on the lookout. Recognize the red flags. Look out for yourself, because I think this is one of those scenarios where we think it will never happen to us, and it can, because abusers it's a systematic disorder that they have, and they already have the instructions on how to break somebody in their broken brains, and we can all be susceptible from it. So be on the lookout. If somebody's being possessive, if somebody's being abusive, and it doesn't always have to be a punch or something blatant like a chokehold. It can be a systematic thing where they're telling you that your friends are no good, that you talk to your parents too much, and if you notice that they're pulling you away from what makes you you, they're capitalizing all of your time and can't handle it when you give it to somebody else. That is unhealthy, and we can't do that to ourselves, because we have only so much time on this planet, and if we give it all to some schmuck who broke us down to do it, we are doing an injustice to ourselves and to our loved ones who have to watch us go through it. So be strong. This is your story. You are actively writing it. If you have already ended this, keep it ended. They have some lessons to learn, this ex of yours, and they might not ever learn them. And if it's dividing your friends up or whatever, your friends, trust them to make the right decision. Because if they saw this behavior and they saw this person for who they were, the rational ones won't blame you. The rational ones won't turn their back on you. I'm sorry that this episode wasn't super cheery, but real issues deserve real treatment. Abuse, being abandoned by friends for things that are out of your control, these are things that gay people and everyone else has to deal with eventually. And we need to be able to talk about it. I'm sorry that these things happen. Be strong, look out for red flags, accept that some friends can't accept you, and know that you deserve better, and face the next day, tomorrow, today. Face it with the chin held high, because what else are we going to do? Are we going to crumble? Are we going to never leave our rooms? Are we going to give up on love? Are we going to, think the worst of ourselves? No. Please, spread some good out there, some encouragement. Help out a brother, help out a sister, help out, people. Anything to add? No? Okay. You guys like the tree? Leave a comment below. I want to do like a new video. I love iHitSendSunday, but I think we should mix it up. So please, if you have any ideas of things that you guys want to do, I know a ton of you are going to say boyfriend tag. You can still post it. Maybe I'll even do it. Put a comment below, something you'd like to see. Please like and subscribe. I feel like I always have to say that, like a contract of some sort. Yes. So just please do that. And please rate me for iHitSendSunday for next week. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Take care of yourselves. Peace, love, goodbye.